Hello everybody. Today we're going to be looking at render.com. So render.com is similar to Heroku. We already looked at Heroku last time. Render.com is a hosting provider for web apps, for servers, for websites, cron jobs, whatever you want basically. Well, not whatever, but they do quite a bit. And great thing about them is that they're also very easy to use, in addition to being not as pricey. So there is no free service. Well, there is for static sites, but as soon as you want to host a server, you're gonna have to pay. So there's no hobby version as with Heroku. But once you have a paid service, it is actually cheaper than Heroku. I think Heroku starts with $7 a month as well, but it goes up quite a lot quite quickly. So with render.com, it scales a little bit better, I would say. In the long run, maybe you want to switch to like the real scalable option, something like AWS or Google Cloud. But this is, I would say, is good to get started, and also for the mid-sized projects. Okay, well, what you need is a render.com account. I think you can also sign up with GitHub. Probably need to add a credit card or something like that. And then you can go to your dashboard. In addition to that, you need a GitHub repository, because that's how they deploy, and I think that's a good way of doing it. Okay, so let's get started. I do have a really basic Node.js server here as well. Oops, let me just clear that. I'm just gonna run that once. So in my package JSON, I do have a couple of things. Main, I don't think that matters too much. The engines, that's probably a good idea to have that. Scripts, also not 100% necessary, but also a good idea to have a start script, and then obviously your dependencies. Okay, so with yarn start, I just did start my server, and the server does nothing else than just returning hello world. Hopefully your server does a little bit more, but yeah, for me that's fine for now. Okay, and then I already uploaded that to GitHub. I pushed that to GitHub. So this is the repository. Feel free to check it out if you want. It's public. But yeah, I'm going to use that to deploy that to render.com. So I'm going to go to render.com in my dashboard, and then create a new service. So here, as I said, they offer quite a bit. Most important probably is web service. Well, at least that's what we want to do right now. Static site is super nice as well. But yeah, especially because it's free. But yeah, let's do web servers. Okay, very good. And then I'm just gonna select that. You can search for it. You might need to add your account there if you didn't sign up with it. Or you might need to do that anyway. And yeah, GitLab seems to work as well. So not only GitHub, but GitLab. So I think that probably covers 99% of the hosting provider for version control. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, Node.js render deployment. Let's select that. And then there's a couple of things that we need to specify. So name, sample node deployment. You can give it whatever name you want, right? And then I'm gonna select Node.js. Very good. As you can see, they also offer other languages, but I like Node. And then select the region. They only have 2 regions so far. Which is okay, I think. As I said, like if you're a small, mid-sized company, probably you don't need to worry too much about the region. At least if you're in the US or Europe, right? Maybe, as I said, later on you might need to do that. Then branch. Okay, well, branch interesting thing, I mentioned that in the Heroku video. I like to have at least 2 branches. One is the default main branch, and then I also like to have a production branch so I can deploy. I don't want to deploy in every push to the main branch because sometimes it's just debugging, or I just want to give my team members the latest code. But yeah, that's why I usually create a production branch. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna check out a new branch and then git add all. Well, probably don't need to do that. Yep. I wonder. Oh, I typed that uppercase. Well, I'm just gonna have that lowercase there. Can it be resolved to a branch? Well, okay. My bad. For you, probably don't want to have that uppercase. I'm not sure if they do that. Yeah, okay, it's uppercase here. But yeah, for you, did a little mistake there, typo. Probably you don't want to have that uppercase, just go all lowercase. But I do have, yeah, I do have 2 branches now. One is the main branch, the other is production branch. And I'm going to use the production branch to link to that. Well, okay, I'm going to reload the page real quick because that didn't exist before. Sample node deployment. Node, very good. Frankfurt production. Build command. Okay, next up, build command is yeah, basically what you want to build, right? So what falls under that is installing, at least for render.com. So with Yarn, it's the same thing as Yarn install, right? Or npm install. So that installs all the node modules. If you have something else, for example, building your website or your app that you're going to serve with this server, right, then you would maybe have a build script, right? So no, maybe parcel or webpack or whatever, right? Then you would go yarn and yarn build, depending on what that script is called. I don't have that right now, so I'm just going to go yarn install, or in short, yarn. Okay, next up is the start command. Start command is just yarn start, as I have it here, right? Well, actually, I had the build script already. Very good. Which doesn't do anything, but yeah, just had that. So I'm gonna leave that there, and yarn build. Okay, yarn start just starts up my server like it would locally. Now there may be one thing. In your application, I mentioned that in the Heroku video as well, but here it is important, if it is a web server, to specify the port depending on the environment variable, right? So for local, you might just have a number, but it's important that you digest the environment variable port, and if that's not there, then you can use that fallback value that you might use locally. Yeah, make sure that is there. But yeah, if you use any kind of generator or something like that, then they do it already for you. Okay, once that's out of the way, make sure the start command is matching this one here. Okay, yarn start, and then we can yeah, we can define the plan. Probably just starter, right? And then advanced. Okay, well, there's a little bit more. We can add environment variables, and maybe something like MongoDB URL or database URL. I'm not sure what you're using. You can put everything in there, but you can also add that later. And similar, if you're using .env file, you can upload your .env file there. Okay, and then maybe finally the auto deploy, yes or no. I generally like to have that enabled, so you can just push to the production environment or maybe just create a pull request from main to production, approve that, merge that, and then it gets deployed automatically. Okay, so we're gonna create the web service. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna delete that environment variable. Okay, create the web service. Okay, now it's doing the first build. Very good. And that's pretty quick. So yeah, it's just going through the commands, yarn and yarn build. So yarn is installing the things, and then the build command is just logging something that is, yeah, I don't have an actual build script. And then it's done. Build is successful. And then if we check the logs, that should give me something. Yeah. Okay. Now it's running yarn start. And then we do have this log, which I am doing in my index.js. And here you can see I'm logging the port, and it is different from what I have in here, right? So it's 10,000. They use that internally, and passing that as environment variable. Very good. And now it is deployed, and we can actually access that. Renderer always gives you a URL, so we can just go there and see that the web server is actually working. Yeah, very good. You can also add your custom URL in case you have your custom domain, right? You can go to settings and then scroll all the way down, add custom domain, and then add your custom domain there. And then they're going to give you render. So I'm just gonna type something there. Gonna give you the instructions what to do. So add a CNAME record. Yeah, not gonna do that right now. Maybe I'm gonna in the future. I'm gonna do a video about the DNS settings. But yeah, you should be able to figure that out. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. Let's maybe try one more thing to see if when we push a new thing to the production branch, if it triggers an auto deployment. So I'm just gonna, well, I actually have this here already. I do have, I changed the order. VS Code is showing that as a change, so I'm just gonna add that. Change package JSON order, and then push this. Okay, successfully pushed to GitHub. Then if I reload here, already the new deployment has started. Okay, well, yeah, well, that was quick. I wanted to say I'm not gonna wait for that to finish, but it's already done. But yeah, as you can see, the deployment is very easy. And then it is set up so it just deploys automatically. You don't need to do anything about that. And for me, I find render.com to be somewhat nicer than Heroku. So sure, there is the $7 threshold. So if it's really just like a yeah, something that you're not going to use anymore and just want to have that host or whatever, you can go to Heroku. Because they shut down the server and then spin it up when it's being requested. But other than that, if you use it somewhat regularly, or if you have like a small startup or something like that, I can highly recommend render.com. Okay, yeah, and then there's all kinds of things here. Feel free to check that out. Yeah, just play around a little bit with it. There's nothing crazy. Yeah, okay. Well, that concludes the video about deploying to render. Let me know, yeah, let me know if that helped, if you liked it. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below. I'm gonna respond to them for sure. And yeah, other than that, I'm gonna see you in the next one.